Greetings, YouTube. When I made my stop sign shield, some people asked me why I didn't make this a one-handed shield, placing the grip here in the center, because it's not particularly heavy, lighter than actual Viking shields would have been, or any other national. The number of nations use single-handed shields. But when I built this was the aesthetic I was going for. I wanted a shield that you strap to your arm. So I didn't make it that way. However, recently I came upon some diamond plate, and the diamond plate normally goes for $35 a sheet, and I got it at a yard sale for $2.50. I got 4 sheets for 10 bucks, and I actually have a use for at least one of the other sheets. The other 2 I haven't decided what to do with them yet, but this is the flattest one I've got in my little collection, and this is going to become another shield, and I'm going to mount another handle just like this one. And the reason I chose this handle is because it's not round, so you can actually grip it and turn it as opposed to having it turn in your hand. And I will probably pat it the way I did this one, which I put a piece of a roll of something in here, and then I slid used tire over it. It gives you a really nice, comfortable grip. And that's going to go here on the back, obviously, not on the front. Going to go in the back. But me being me, I'm not just going to make a shield that you swat weapons away with. Nope, I'm going to make a shield that is also a weapon. So I'm going to use 4 of these, 2 of which will be used to hold the handle in place, and 2 of them which will be set up in a diamond pattern here. Get it? Diamond pattern, diamond plate. And I am going to put points on all 4 of these bolts, making this into a not only a defensive weapon, but or rather a defensive device, but a weapon that you can use to thrust at people and do them harm. So the first thing I need to do is, well, unwrap my handle so I can use it to help lay out. But I need to put some layout lines on here, finding the vertical and horizontal centers so I can lay out where I want my holes to be. Alrighty, so my marks are now lined up here. So I got a vertical and horizontal, and I got 4 spots where I want my bolts to be. But the astute among you will notice that that hole there is not the same size as this bolt. So I'm going to have to open up that hole to a larger diameter. And oddly, I have an 11/32, but I don't have a 3/8. That's weird. But I think I can make it 11/32 work. I'm not sure why I don't have a 3/8 drill bit. That just seems odd to me, but I don't. I used my square and a Sharpie to lay out the lines on my diamond plate. So now it's going to be set up my drill, get my drill set up and everything so that I can drill the holes through this, and I'm going to mark the actual holes I want to drill with a nail set so that my drill bit will have something to bite into before I start drilling, because that's always important when you're really dealing with a flat surface like this. You really want to make sure that the drill bit has something to bite into, and this is an excellent way of doing that. You just take this and a hammer and bing, and there you go. And if it's off by a smidge, I don't care. This is not I'm not doing rocket surgery here, so I'm quite willing to have it off by, you know, 1/16 of an inch here and there. So next step up, mark the plate and start drilling holes. So I set up my handle with a clamp and with a piece of sacrificial material beneath it so that I could drill through the hole without having to worry about harming the table. And also it gives it a great deal more stability if I'm drilling straight through something that's got support 100%. And I think that'll work. I only got to make these things go in once, so if I got to screw them all the way through it, I don't care. They're never coming out again. They're never going to come out again, so that's not going to be an issue. So now it's time to do the other one and then set up the plate. Alright, here we have the diamond plate set up for its first hole to be drilled, and I had to break out the only 3/8 inch drill bit I've got, which is 18 inches long, which is kind of awkward, which is the reason I didn't want to use it. But it's the only 3/8 inch I have, and I was having to monkey with the 11/32 too much to get it the bolt to fit. So I'm now just going to use this. This will be considerably easier to drill through because it's aluminum and thinner. The other one is steel. So next up is going to be drilling all 4 of these holes. Alright, so I've got the bolt clamped out here, and I've got 2 nuts set up. So I'm clamping on the nut and not the threads. So I don't want to mess the threads up, so I probably wouldn't. And I got this block here so that everything is sitting up on something that I don't really care about, which is that fiberboard. And now it's time to grind points on these things. Alrighty, there we go. We got 4 bolts with points on them. Took me about a half hour outside of my angle grinder to put the points on all 4 of those bolts. It is not a fast process. I will love someday if I ever have the opportunity to own a lathe, a metal lathe, that I could machine this stuff on. It would make my life so much easier. But you know, you work with what you got. So, next up, assembly! Well folks, there you have it. We have one diamond plate shield. It's not perfectly aligned, but you know, I'm okay with that. And I think one of the holes is off by a smidge, but again, I'm okay with that. So now you have a device that you can use for blocking and attack. And it's light enough that it's easy to use in one hand. Even though I'm wicked tired at the moment, it's still easy for me to use it in one hand. Now I use it's self-standing, and I used a piece of hose like that, and some old bicycle inner tube to make a handle. So there's a piece of this hose inside there, which gives you a nice give with still having some form. And because this is not square, it's easy to grip, and it indexes in your hand, so you can rotate and not have it turn in your hand too readily. But you're going to want something a little more substantial than just that thin metal, because that was never intended to be used or held in this manner. It was designed as a handle on a door or a barn or something like that, you know what I mean? So, there we have it, folks. It's hard to drop, I can tell you that. One of the very first diamond plate shields I have ever seen. And anyone out there knows of one, that would be cool. I'd like to know about it. And you can see my fan. Sorry about the fan noise. It's warm when this is filmed. There you go, folks. I think this is a pretty nice project, and the whole thing probably took me from beginning to end 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. Yeah, about 2.5 hours to complete this, I think. And now it's time for me to go wash up and make some dinner, so I'm getting kind of hungry. But if anybody else out there thinks they've seen something like this before, tell me.